Kara's back. We are back, guys, one after the other. Have a special guest coming on that's going to give us some inside information on her season. I think you guys are going to be excited.
There we go.
There you are. Okay, so we're just waiting on Dee Dee and Rachel to come in.
Rachel. Yeah, she has been waiting to be able to say her piece on Paul. I told her, I said, well, George would love to have you on anytime. So her and I were playing 20 questions live on 20 rapid fire questions, or would you rather, on Instagram live for like 20 minutes before we started podcasting. I told her when George comes on, when George texts me, I gotta go. And she said, okay. So we got off, and then she came in and she's like, let me in.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Anytime. Yeah. I'm a big fan. I love her and John, and I've been following their story, and I know it's been so long, and I know that they've been waiting. I think they've waited the longest from everyone in the 90-day universe.
They've waited 6 years, but they're going to find out in 70 days or less now. Finally. They finally have a time.
I can't imagine how it's taken so long, because we've watched the show and there's been so many people who have gotten here so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't understand the process that they're going through, because they have a child together. So it's like, why is it taking so long? It's not just two people that like each other. There's a child, you know?
Yeah, she had to write some hardship letters and stuff like that, get it sent in. And she kind of finally got a, more or less, we'll have an answer for you within this timeline. So that's the most positive they've had so far. So it's coming.
Good. That's good.
Hopefully he'll be here within the next couple of months.
That'll be huge. I hope that they will film that when he gets here. That would be amazing. Even if it's just for 90-Day Diaries. We would love to see it.
But I mean, she wants to, because so many people are invested in their journey. She wants to do that, but she doesn't want to do any kind of spinoffs or anything like that. Which, I mean, you can't help but respect. She said, there's so much trash now that she's just like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
She said, but
even if she could just do it for 90-Day Diaries, because I think that self-shot, at least she would be in charge of what content she's letting people see. Yeah. Because I know she's been very, what's the word?
Reserved,
right?
Yeah.
She doesn't really share a lot of information, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I think that you should have your personal life. Everyone shouldn't know everything going on in your life.
Yeah.
I think that in 90-Day Diaries world, you get to decide what you're filming, where you're going, what you're doing. I think that would be best. So when he gets here, she could film the arrival and him coming home to their home together for the first time. I think that's important. But everything else, that's nobody's business. Everybody should basically mind their business,
A big wedding when they get here, and we're all going to have just a huge party, and it's going to be a huge welcome home when he finally does get here.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I hear I have another party to go to, huh?
Absolutely.
I will be there, because they were one of my favorite couples on 90 Day Fiancé. They were one of my favorite couples, and my heart just like really, I felt so sorry for them, because everybody has a past. Everybody has a past. And, if certain ones, other ones were able to come over here, no questions asked, why wasn't he able to come over here?
Yeah. And his crime, his crime is so minor. I mean, literally minor in America. What happened, the whole real story out of his mouth, this is not third-party information, this is information I got directly from him, was that someone flipped up his girlfriend's skirt and he punched the guy in the face. Plain and simple. That's it. It was a bar fight.
Well, if Andre was able to come over here with the past he has, John would have been able to come over here.
Hi.
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 How are you?
Oh, I'm heated. Someone mentioned the word Paul, and I was like, ooh.
So yeah, you've had like personal interactions with him, and I'm sorry for that. I know a lot of people,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, they don't want to have any type of interactions with him. So I definitely
Yeah.
want to get like some info on that, because there's always a story about him in the news and in the
Yeah.
blogs. There's always horrible, horrible things that we've heard. But it would be nice to hear something that we know is accurate and true, and so we get a real idea of who this guy really is, because we
It's
have an
funny.
idea.
It's funny because the accusations he made about me were so false that I had to go back and look it up to find out what he said about me. So if you don't mind, I don't know if my camera is going to cut out here, but I'd like to just go back to the screenshots that I took to say what the accusations were. That, like, if it were true, I remember.
Oh, she's frozen.
Oh, she probably is gonna have to rejoin, because I think when you go out to like your camera roll, she'll probably have to rejoin. So when she gets her when she gets the info, when she comes back, she'll probably be in the chat. Yep, I think she just. Oh no, that's somebody else. I think she's gonna have to rejoin. But yeah, I think it's good that she's able to clear some things up.
Yeah.
Just speak out and clear your name, because it's so unfair the way people can go on the internet and say false information about people and never have to, there you are, and never have to explain themselves.
Yeah.
I could hear you talking, and I guess you were correct that when I was trying to speak, you guys couldn't hear me. So the first accusation was that I was bullying the cast. Okay. And now, granted, we aired 2018, so time has come and gone since then, but I have never defended myself since then. Paul has said that I wanted a whole new room because little Lucy was sleeping. And then I said that this room wasn't big enough. Gross. Okay, she was in a stroller and a car seat. A closet would have been big enough.
Yeah.
She was in a car seat. So there was that. And then if you don't mind, I'll just go back to the screenshots, because again, these aren't real accusations, so I don't remember. So
got it.
Yeah.
Continue on for just a second.
Okay.
Tell your side, man. That's exactly. Yes, crazy Paul.
Yeah, I think it's important. I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I don't need to correct incorrect information, but I think it's important
She's
to correct incorrect information.
And now she's finally getting the opportunity to say her piece.
Well, who in their right mind anyway would listen to anything that Paul has to say?
Who the hell knows? So I also demanded that everyone leave because Lucy was sleeping. I demanded that everyone just go on so my baby can sleep, which is not true. And then also, I think I was missing a shirt that I brought in, and oh God, okay. So I brought a shirt that the crew approved of, and I couldn't find it. It was in the green screen room. Lucy, can you throw this away, please? It was in the back room, and I was like, I don't know. I had it. It was a black shirt. I had it. I don't know where it is. And they're like, where was it? I said it was on that chair. And there's a backpack, and it was Paul's. And the producer said, okay, well, let's go through it. They went through Paul's bag, found my shirt. I did not say that Paul took my shirt. Why would Paul take my shirt? Does not sound logical. But they found my shirt in Paul's bag, and I'm like, yay. So I put it on, and that was my shirt. They didn't like the shirt. I changed into a different shirt, whatever. But they went through his bag and found my shirt.
That's so great.
And Paul is saying that I accused him of stealing my shirt. Why would I accuse a grown man of stealing my shirt? So first of all, I've kicked everybody out of the room because this one needed to sleep. And then I accused the grown man of stealing a woman's shirt. Never happened. What, honey? You're okay.
But it was in his bag, but you didn't accuse him, but let's just make it clear it was in his bag.
It was in his bag. I didn't know where it was, and there's a moth on my light right now, and it's really freaking me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. The producers said, "Why are there moths in here?" They didn't say that. There's a moth. I'm having a moment. I know. So the producer said, "Where did you leave it?" I said, "On that chair." They said, "Whose bag is that?" Someone says, "Paul." They're like, "Okay, well, let's just go through it." Like, granted, if you're like getting ready to go on this was all during the tell-all. We all shared a room, okay? And they're like, "All right, well, let's just go through it and see what's in here." They found my shirt. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't say anything. I wasn't like, I didn't accuse him of anything. It was just in there. It was what it was. Someone said, "Hey, Paul, Rachel's shirt was in your bag." And Paul, being the sociopath that he is, said, "Rachel is kicking everyone out of her room. She accused me of stealing her shirts." He said, "Can I cuss here?"
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
No. No. He's a trucking sociopath.
Yeah.
He's crazy. He's crazy. He tried to give me legal advice about how to handle mine and John's situation, which was not the same situation as a sociopath to begin with, okay? And then accusing me of being a diva, which was what they were saying. Okay, bye. And accusing him of stealing my clothes, which doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We were the only non-dramatic couple on that season.
Yep.
And so why not make us the villain? Do you know what I mean? Like, why not make us impure in a sense? It was just so odd. He told me, he was sitting behind me on the tell-all, and he said he's crinkling something in his pocket. And I don't know if you remember his season that he had his Lucy, I'm on a call. Get the mom. He had his mom give him like a lock of hair during the season. Yeah. Do you remember? So during the tell-all, and I've never said this to anyone except for John, during the tell-all, he's crinkling paper in his pocket, and he goes, "Rachel," and he leans forward, and he goes, "I have a lock of my mom's hair in case anybody asks me." And I was like, "Good for you, weirdo." Weird. And sorry, I'm trying to kill the moth and talk to you and keep my kids safe at the same time. So
You're doing
yeah, I'm trying. Where's my cats when I need them, right?
yeah.
So anyway, and then he tells me, of course I didn't say anything because I'm a loyal person. You're going to tell me some crazy stuff, I'll take that to my grave. Unless you give me a reason not to. Hence, tonight. Okay? So one thing I have never said to anyone is that when him and I became friends, he told me that he has a dead carcass of an unborn child in his freezer.
What?
Yeah.
Say that again.
A dead carcass of an unborn child in his freezer. Now, don't tell anyone, Rachel. And I know exactly why he told me not to tell anyone, because if I did, then he would know it came from me. Yeah. So here I am, knowing that's a blatant lie, knowing he's a freaking crazy person. Google him. He's crazy. Mm-hmm. He's got like arson charges. You know, stalking, rape against Karini, poor dear, you know, and all this stuff against him. Like, come at me, Paul. I got guns here. I'm not afraid. Yeah. You know, like, he's crazy. Yeah. And I never said a word until tonight. You're the first three who have ever heard this, that he told me he had a frozen, like, embryo or a frozen, like, something of a baby form in his freezer. I knew it was a lie. but he was waiting for me to tell somebody, because then he could say, Rachel's talking shit.
Wow.
It's been, what, 2018, 19, 21, 5 years, and I'm finally now saying it. Okay, Paul, crazy asshole. He's a crazy asshole. He's crazy. He's fucking crazy. I hate that man.
Yes.
I hate him. Now he's telling me that I'm kicking people out of the agreement. That never happened. Angela's daughter was on the phone. F you! What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. While my toddler is trying to sleep. And I'm like, shh,
yeah.
Like, common sense would say, keep it down. Keep it down. And then, no, that didn't happen, so I left. I willingly left the room and went somewhere else by myself. Did I ask for a separate green room? No, that never happened, ever. I'm not a diva. I put up with the antics. I put up with the yelling. I put up with all the talk about me for 5 years, and here I am finally sitting my piece. Paul's a sociopath.
Yes.
Try to burn my house down. I got alarms. It's fine. And moths.
And moths.
I have moths. They like fire. It's fine.
We were having a meeting, several of us in a group, and I voiced my opinion felt about Paul. And John kind of disappears for a minute, and then he comes back and he says, Kara, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, oh, what's that? And he brought Paul in unexpectedly. And I got
gross.
all the fun things I wanted to say to him. And it was wonderful. And then Paul. But I didn't know all the horrible things he had done to Rachel at that point, or I would have thrown that in.
So wait, did he respond to anything, or did he just leave?
To me?
Yeah.
Oh, he was trying to explain himself for everything I said. He had an explanation of what happened. I was like, you're just batshit crazy. I mean, I don't know how else to word it. I think you're psycho. I think that you portrayed yourself horribly. I think you were just a terrible person. You were a terrible person to your girlfriend. You know, I went on and on and on. But he was in and out of the house. Like, he'd go in the house and then he'd go in the car, play with the dome light. I mean, wild. He's just crazy. He is.
Well, it's not only that. Like, granted, there's no proof that I have that Paul said what he said. There's no proof, because the soap dirt or whatever articles have said what they said. There's no proof. But knowing Paul, it's Paul. And then he also tried to, and I won't get into detail, when it came to Lucy, her biological father is not in her life. He's never met her, and that was his choice. Paul told me something that was going to happen before it happened.
Really?
Which, yes. So I know that Paul is here to stir shit up. And 2 days, I want to say maybe the next day, 2 days later, 3 days later, what he said was publicized. And I'm not going to say, because I'm not here to bring all that up. It's, again, she's 6 now, you know, and I'm not going to go into that. But, like, weird how he warned me on something that happened only a couple of days later. He's effing crazy. He's nuts. And telling me that he's got a wad of hair from his mom in his pocket in case anyone asks him, and then lied, and he showed it to me. I saw it. It was there. It was never said on the tell-all. The tell-all was a few hours, and obviously everyone saw, like, what, 45 minutes of it. Yeah. But no one ever asked him to pull it out of his pocket, but he was ready and willing.
Yeah.
And I think I killed it. The moth is gone. Don't worry. No, it's not. And then, like, telling me that he had like a dead something in a jar of a baby of him, from him and Karina. And I obviously knew that wasn't true, but he was waiting for me to spill that. And I'm, like I said, I'm a loyal person. So although I knew it wasn't true, I wasn't about to say that out loud.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are the only ones, like I said, who have ever heard that ever. It's bullshit. It's not true. That's even too crazy for Paul, or is it? I don't know.
Right.
But it wasn't true. You know,
nothing past him.
Me either. He's a sociopath. He's nuts.
Yeah.
But he was waiting for me to spill those to the news, you know, just so he can say, "Oh, Rachel said that."
Yeah.
You know, he's nuts. He's nuts. I don't know where he is, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Last time
I thought
Brazil was some very young girl.
That's what I
He's not with
feel.
Kareem anymore. Kareem.
No.
No,
I thought they got back together and they were getting custody back of the boys.
No.
I heard that he wasn't in the country. That's what I heard last.
Wow.
See, he gets some sick thrill off of bad news. Like, he will do whatever he can to be in the news. If it's bad news, he will be there. Yeah. As long as his name is out there, he sleeps at night like, yes, because he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He is crazy.
Oh, he's nuts. Watching, like, looking him eye to eye, like, I felt weird. I felt nervous around him. Like, and he's trying to be nice to me, and I'm like, ew. And just looking him in the eye, I felt scared. You know what I mean? Like, so he's got that vibe.
Rachel, someone asked if you and the British guy are still dating. Do you want to give any updates?
Me and the British guy?
Are you still dating?
John?
Who's John? No, yeah. John, my husband? Yeah, no, we're still married.
Married people don't date. Married people are just married.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're not dating because he is still in England. But we should have an answer after 6 years of waiting. We should have it. Stop jumping in my bed. We should have an answer now within the next 6 months or 2 months, 60 days.
So we were talking earlier, and I was wondering if it's great news, would you like be open to doing like a 90-day diary so everyone can see you guys be reunited? Because we're so invested. We would love to see that.
That's actually something like TLC has been keeping in touch with us this entire time. What's the news? What's the update? And they're only like filming update shows on us, waiting for the final result. And we're only 2 months away from an answer, and I do feel like they're going to want to film it. And those who have waited half a decade,
right,
I feel that they deserve an update, you know, or a season, or, you know, something publicly. So if they do want to film, if he comes here, then yeah, by all means, like, we'll film that. Like, we owe that to everyone who stuck it out the song for sure.
Oh, Kimberly wants to say hi to you. Kimberly from before.
Oh, Kimberly. Oh, I know Kimberly, I think.
Yes, you do.
Yes, Kimberly, hi. I don't go on social media very often, so I'm like, I suck at this.
So yeah, if we could watch the reunion, that would be amazing. Would you be willing to like do another season of like one of the shows, or are you only doing like update stuff?
They've only been stringing us along like a carrot in front of a donkey, you know, for a while, like just update shows just to keep us relevant, which we can appreciate.
I think
but
happily ever after would be a good fit for you guys, because literally after all these years, you would literally be living happily ever after together. I would love to see you guys on that show together, so we can finally see you.
100%. And I feel like that's been promised to us. Once, if and when, because I want to be the optimist here, right, when he gets the approval within the next 60 days, I do feel like they're going to want to do a whole new season, and it's going to be happily ever after because he'll be here.
Right. And
then we'll film our lives together, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, no, we're both more than willing to do another season, if they'll allow us. which I think they will.
Fingers
I think
crossed.
on Pillow
Yeah,
Talk.
fingers crossed. I'm
Yeah.
so glad to hear that. So
And yeah,
Yeah,
Kara,
it'll be fun.
I love that idea on Pillow Talk. You and John, I would love
That would-
that. Oh my gosh, there's
He'd be like the humorous one, and I'd be the one with the resting bitch face
Yeah.
the entire time.
That's to be.
Yeah, I'd be like, ugh. You know, just because I hear it all the time, like his sarcastic remarks. Not that they're not funny, but it's constant, you know, so I'm immune to it. And he's just funny to everybody else, which is fine. But I'm his wife, you know, and so I'm like, ugh.
It'll make great.
It could be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
so.
Yes.
Did you watch this season of The Other Way that just aired?
No, I have to be honest, after being on the show, our producer was wonderful. Our first season, she was there with us from the start, and she said, I have to be there the second half on their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so amazing that the sound guy, all the camera guys, our producer, they all dressed up for our wedding and in dresses and suit and ties. And although it was behind the scenes, they were our guests because they were like family. They were amazing. And then after that, we did update shows from there on out, and seeing like all these different producers. You know, we never worked with the same producer since. And I was like, ew. They were trying to get us to say things that weren't, I'm not under contract, so maybe I can say this, I'm not sure. They were trying to get us to say things that weren't true, you know, or reword things that weren't quite accurate. And I lost interest in the show. I think I watched before the 90 Days season 3, because I was on season 2. And then after I found out, and I'm not going to name any names, but I want to say friends with one of them. And after I found out her and her husband were faking the whole thing, I just threw my hands in the air and I said, never again. And I haven't watched a single episode again.
Wow. Yeah, I will say this. The show has changed so drastically because I watched from the beginning. And it went from real couples and real situations to staged, recreated situations. There's even been people who recreated weddings. Like you said, we're not going to say names, but like got remarried just for the show and they were already married. Like they've really changed the authenticity of the show. It's not as authentic as it was. And I do miss the earlier seasons because I started watching from the very beginning. I took a huge interest because my dad married a woman from the Philippines. And this was like way before the show premiered. So I kind of she brought over her family and we kind of integrated into a blended family. So I knew what it was like. So when the show premiered, I liked seeing authentic representations of what I went through.
Right.
But like you said, they're not really as authentic as they were, if at all, anymore.
Well, it's like when Jerry Springer or Maury came out, it was a real talk show.
Yep.
And then people are like, I can get on TV. And then they make up this whole story. And then it becomes fake. And then it becomes dramatic. And then people get their own shows, which I'm not going to say, but you did just talk about them before this. And it just becomes fake. People will do anything to be on TV. Like, granted, I get it because you make a crap ton of money for having your own show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not about to fake my life. I have kids. I have 2 kids who are going to see this, and both of them have, and one was on it, you know? And I'm not about to embarrass myself like that for TV's sake. But some people have no shame, and they'll do it anyway. And so after I was on it, because I watched this show from season 1, episode 1. Before the 90 Days ever came out, I watched 90 Day Fiancé with my mom. And we were like, oh my God, this stuff is crazy. You know, we were all into it. The drama was exciting. I love dramatic shows. I love it. I watched Vanderpump Rules. I watch all that stuff. But after I was on it, I completely lost interest because it wasn't 90 Day Fiance now. It was before the 90 days. It was an extended version. And then after that, what were there, 10 seasons before I was on the show? And then I was on the second season of the spawn of the show. And then there was another one. It just got worse and worse. And I was like, no more. So no, sadly, I haven't watched a single season after I became friends with one of the girls on season 3 of Before the 90 Days and found out they were all lying about it. And I was like, nah, I can't. Like Jerry Springer became a known fake show. Maury became a known fake show. And they got tossed because it just became garbage. Right. And I feel like, sadly, the same is going to happen with this show if people don't start faking it. They don't stop faking it.
I agree with you.
We need to talk about Vanderpump Rules tomorrow. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm so sad that it's like I can't binge watch. I binge watched 10 seasons in 2 months. I was so into it.
I've never seen it, so you got to show.
I've never seen an episode of it, but now that the drama is going on, I'm like pretty well versed.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. And this is being on a reality TV show. I believe every minute of this show. Now, I know when fake drama occurs, being my own circumstances and the positions that I was asked to be, put in. And I know when, like, fake drama happens and Vanderpump Rules, oh, my God, maybe the beginning was a little weird, but as it goes on, you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. You're so into it. You're like, oh, my God. I binge-watched 10 seasons in a month and a half, and I'm mad that I have to wait until Wednesday of this week to watch the reunion again. I'm mad. I'm invested.
It's a 3-part. Too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I have never watched a reunion where I have to wait another week. I've watched it like back to back to back. This is why I don't do this weekly crap. Yeah. I have no patience for this.
I agree.
I am angry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So what else are you watching? Like, what other reality TV other than Vanderpump? Because I know you love reality TV. So what else is like something that you love?
Okay, so I work from home. So on my computer, I'll watch something. I'm weird. Okay, so let me explain myself. When I'm on my computer, I'll watch whatever I can find. And then I do a lot of diamond art kits. I used to do paint by numbers, and now I do like diamond by numbers, if you will. So I have 2 different shows going at the same time. Okay.
Oh.
Because then I know it's weird. It's weird, but I work from home and I'm alone a lot. It's fine. So when I'm at my computer, I'll find like a documentary on Netflix. But when I'm doing my diamond art, nowadays I'm watching Below Deck.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yes. So I'm only on. I realized that I didn't start from the beginning. Just yesterday.
Oh no.
But that's fine.
No.
So
how far?
That's fine. No, I got into, I realized there's Below Deck Mediterranean, Below Deck Yacht, Below Deck Sailing, and I didn't realize that, but I'm on Below Deck Sailing Yacht, and I watched the first season, and now I'm on season 2, and then I'll backtrack later.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. I know.
Yeah, it's a good show. I love it.
It is good. It is.
That's the way we all have to do it. Working from home, just put some trash TV on and get no work done. And
I get lots of work done, especially when I'm watching TV. I'm like into it, I'm typing away at the same time. Like, oh.
TV, if it's something that's just in the background, but if something grabs my attention, boy, it's on. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, putting a TV on in a room with me is a way to get me to be non-productive. Like, it has to be shut off because I will get so wrapped up in the TV I can't concentrate on anything else. Because
that's when I started watching Love Island. I watch these junk TV shows because I don't actually have to pay attention to the show. It's not like someone gives a side eye and that means something, and if you miss the side eye, like, you're screwed. So I used to watch a lot of Love Island while I was working, but that's just the same crap all the time. So I stopped watching that for a while. So I watch things that I don't actually have to pay attention to. And it just distracts me, you know, but it's entertaining to listen to as I'm typing away, I guess.
I watched Alone, and that is, I didn't think I'd get into that, but the first episode, it is so good. So good.
Yeah, if I get invested, I'll stop typing and I'll just, because I have 2 monitors.
Yeah.
And so, like, one's playing on the left and I'm working on the right. So if I get distracted, I can't watch that while I'm working.
Oh.
So I have to find my junk TV shows.
Have you watched The Mole?
Yes.
Good one. I like
So good. It's so good. I love that show.
I don't
Yeah.
know what these shows are. I feel like I don't know what's going on.
Don't watch Love Island. That's corny.
Okay.
It's the same thing every time. But Love is Blind and what's the other one? Oh God. Help me, Kara. Help me.
Love is Blind US. You don't want to watch the Japan one and all of that.
Oh no, that's what I was gonna say. No, Love is Blind US is fine, but Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
not the US version. Gross. No. Australia is the best. UK comes second.
See, I didn't like Married at First Sight. I made it like 4 episodes in that one.
Which one?
In the Married at First Sight UK.
Really?
I like the Australia one. That one's great.
The Australian one is that wins. Like, there's top. Yeah, for sure. UK is second, but the US one is just like, it drags out. If you want a show to talk about, though, it's gonna be not just 90 Day Fiance, because they have so many different like spawns of the show that you'll always have something to talk about. But Married at First Sight, Australia and UK. Right. It's dramatic hell. It's amazing. It's awesome.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm actually thinking of doing a true crime podcast.
Yeah. Ooh, yes, that's right up my alley.
And, someone from this past season, someone's son from this past season of The Other Way said that they want to do it with me, and they're in law enforcement, so they're gonna like
getting to do on him. So
yeah, so right. But he's in law enforcement, so he's gonna bring the stories, and then we'll talk about it, and we just get to, yeah.
I want to be there so bad.
Fun.
Yeah, of course. Like, I don't know anything about true crime. Like, I've never even really listened to it. I have watched like documentaries, so this isn't up my alley. But somebody brought it up to me, and I was like, well, I want to talk about it. Like, I want to because I was thinking of doing one where it would be like called The Judge and the Jury, where we will analyze a case and kind of like figure out who done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll spend some time talking about the evidence, and then we can like think of like it'll be called like The Judge and the Jury, and we'll determine who did it, why they did it, you know, and just come up with our own like theory.
There is a show called
crime theories. Yeah.
Oh, me too. There's a show called Guilty or Innocent, or Accused or Innocent, or something like that on IG, and where you never know the answer of whether they're guilty or not, and you can find out like at the end of the series, at end of the show. It's always one case per show. There's story. I think it's one case per show, but they come to terms with whether they're charged or not, but it's so wishy-washy. You really can't tell whether they're guilty or innocent, and that'd be a great topic.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes.
I love that. I like the idea of like trying to figure out if someone did it based on like outside. Like, you can't ask them questions, you can't know anything about them, you just can see physical evidence.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be a fun podcast. Like, we can pick a case, and like it could be probably something that's in the news now or something old, and then we can just like find everything we can on it and just like discuss like and then everybody, and then like maybe we could have a hat and everyone puts a name in the hat who they think guilty or innocent, you know, and then at the end we reveal who was right and who was wrong, something like that.
I love that. I love that so much. You just touched my soul right now. My dad and I, like, my best friend of 28 years has always been into like forensics and like murders and crimes and stuff. And like, I'm now into that, like, as of, I don't know, how old am I? 39. 20 years ago. And my dad and I are into it. Like, so we all understand each other. We're not crazy. We don't want to kill people, but it's just like,
Yes.
it's fascinating topic,
Right.
you know? And I don't know, we just get like a kick out of like, why?
Yes.
And how? And it's so weird. And then like you read into the court cases and these books and stuff, and it's so fascinating. Also, side note, ghosts all day long with me. Yeah.
She has ghosts
Wait,
in the house. Like
You have ghosts in your house?
No, I don't. But I am like obsessed with the paranormal.
there's
Really?
Oh my gosh,
You don't
Patricia.
believe. I see it in your eyes.
I was gonna say I love ghosts, like the paranormal, but I was like, y'all might probably think I'm weird or something, but I am obsessed.
No.
Obsessed. I love stuff like that.
I don't
I'm
want-
obsessed.
And like, okay, here's the thing. If I had a choice to see ghosts, I'd be like 1000% yes. Just not in my house and not where I'm sleeping.
Right.
Okay? But anywhere else, please, yes.
Well,
you know, but I'm sure that's not how it works.
Let me tell y'all a little story, okay? True story. Okay, true story. All right. You know, I know George, you and Kara know that, you know, I was raised in Mexico on and off in Mexico. Well, over there you see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'll never forget, you know, cause I never believed in witches or anything else. They really exist. They really do. Well, one night we were coming down the mountain. We were going down to the store. The nearest store was like probably about 20 minutes at the bottom of the mountain. And we were going down in the car, and there was this lady standing. There was like apple trees everywhere. And at the very, very top of the mountain, I was told that, you know, 2 sisters live up there, but they were witches. And I was like, whatever, you know, witches don't exist. Well, let me tell you something. Whenever we was going down to the store, I seen this lady. She had a beautiful, beautiful white dress on. And all of a sudden, they were like, start saying the Lord's Prayer, start saying the Lord's Prayer, and turn the lights on bright. And this lady, she jumps on top of our car. She turns into a huge, like, eagle-looking like bird, and she was like screaming. But the scream I'm talking about it sounded like fingernails on a chalkboard kind of scream. And she was trying to rip the roof off of the car. I have seen where we're walking down in, like, there was what we call the headless horseman. The headless horseman exists. I seen it.
That's crazy.
Nobody believes me. Yes, I've seen it in Mexico. I'm serious. Yes.
That's
It's
like,
hard.
and
It's funny because my husband is, well, John. He's so like, if it's not proof, it doesn't exist. He's so closed-minded.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how do you explain this? You know, and I would tell him my situation, and he's like, I don't know, you're tired, you know. And I'm like, but my mom and I saw it at the same time. You know, like sometimes there's just no, and I'm not going to go into it yet, because if you want to do a podcast about it, then we'll save those stories for another time. But it's like, how do you explain things that multiple people have seen at the same time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that people don't believe in ghosts, and I know that people don't believe in aliens, you know, and that's fine. It's hard to believe. I don't believe in Bigfoot, but people do. You know, and it's hard to see. If I saw Bigfoot walking around, then I'd believe in him, but I don't. You know what I mean? But, huh?
Is that why you want to come to Portland?
No, because Portland has rain, and I like the water's in the flood. I live in New Mexico. Our monsoon season is 10 minutes of rain if you're lucky. It's horrible. I hate it here.
Well,
I hate it so much.
I do believe in ghosts. When I was a kid, the house that we lived in, it did have ghosts, and it actually had a demon in it because it's really interesting because we were very religious growing up. My mom was religious. We went to church like 4 or 5 times a week. And I was in the living room. I was on the couch. My mom was on the other couch. We were sleeping in the living room. I'm not sure why. I think we were watching TV. And my mom starts like, you know how someone sounds when they can't breathe and they're gasping for air? She starts making like these gasping sounds, and she's like laying down and her arms are like flipping around and everything. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she can't talk. Like she's looking at me and she's gasping, but she couldn't talk. And all of a sudden she just is normal. Her arms go down and she's like, there was a demon on me and it was like choking me. And I couldn't see it, but she was like, it's like choking me. And I was like, well, why would it do that? And she was like, I don't know. But she said, I said the Lord's name 3 times and it let go.
Wow.
And that was like,
it's real. It's real.
It was insane to me because
it is real.
I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And my mom is like the most, she doesn't believe anything like outside of the church.
Especially as a religious person, like
Right.
to believe in that stuff is very like sinful and against the rules in a sense. Yeah.
So I was like, it's insane because she wouldn't lie to me. Like she doesn't lie at all. Like my mom would never.
Especially as a religious person, why would you say something that's frowned upon to say?
Exactly.
Which I find it so funny because the more that I talk about ghosts, the more I hear stories like yours, which only confirms my creepiest story, which my best friend of 28 years is a witness to, in a sense. And I'll just say this, if you want to talk about this again later, I'd be happy to say it. But I was 18, 19 years old in an apartment. My best friend and her boyfriend were sleeping in the living room, and I went to my bedroom. It was a 1-story apartment. And so I went to sleep, and I closed my eyes, and I felt this vibration in the back of my neck, and I was like, ugh. You know, and I shook it off, and I when I closed my eyes, I saw this triangular face. It was flat head. It was a triangle, flat head, and then triangle chin. And it had black eyes and like a mouth. And I was like, nope. And so I opened my eyes, and that's when I felt the vibration at the same time. And I opened my eyes, and I'm going to sound like a crazy person for everyone who's watching. But I have a witness. And so I was like, nope. So I opened my eyes, and I focused on my dresser and all the door handles, because that's, you know, the doorknobs and the knobs. And that's what I wanted to focus on, because this triangular, it was a white face with black eyes and a slit for a mouth. And I was like, no. So I opened my eyes, and I focused on my dresser and, you know, counted the door, the knobs, closed my eyes. The second I closed my eyes again, I saw the triangular face, but it smiled. And it went from, imagine the triangle. I only have one hand. It went up to each triangular cheek, and the eyes were open, and the vibration on the back of my neck took over my entire body, and I could not move. And it was like the creepiest thing, and I was like trying to move, and I couldn't. My whole body was shaking, and it freaking smiled at me. And I was like trying to scream, knowing my friends were in my living room.
Right.
Eventually, I got like somehow the energy or whatever to say, leave me alone, get out of my house. And it stopped, just stopped. And I thought, I'm fucking losing my mind. I went to sleep. And that was it. I just went to sleep. I got up the next morning, bid my friends farewell. They went to their house. It was my friend, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's dad. They lived separately in a house. So they went to sleep. After that, like, of course, if I mention this, people are going to think I'm nuts. So I didn't say anything to them that morning. They went to bed, you know, at their house the following night. And I thought, no, that was too real. So the following morning, the night after that, that morning after that, I called her and I said, hey, I just have a question. I said, did you hear me screaming in my sleep? Because I yelled, leave me alone, get out of my house, like yelled it. No one said anything the next morning, so I thought, sure, I'm nuts, you know? So anyway, the next night passed, And I asked her, I said, did you hear me screaming anything in my sleep when you were here? She said, why? Did something weird happen to you too? I didn't tell her anything. I asked, did you hear me screaming in my sleep? And she said, why? Did something weird happen to you too? And I said, what happened to you? And she said, a white face. And she described the vibration. She couldn't move. She was paralyzed. She had her eyes open, trying to reach for the dog in her bed, but couldn't move. And eventually, she was released of whatever it was, stood up, went straight to the hallway. Oh, I have goosies. Her boyfriend's dad was in the hallway dripping sweat. And she said, Ronnie, what's wrong? And he said, a white face.
Wow.
Like, it followed them to their house. Wow. So I have a witness. This is my best friend of 28 years. And yeah, she damn well remembers all of this.
Wow.
So I'm not crazy. It followed her home, whatever it was. Like, yeah, weird things happened. She couldn't move. She couldn't reach for the dog. She, nothing. And her boyfriend's dad was experiencing the same thing the night after. Crazy crap. Crazy.
Oh, weren't you did you have like lights and stuff going on in your house randomly and doors opening?
No, that's my cat. In this house? Are you talking about my house?
Well, we were all talking, but I don't remember who it was. There were like, because I said that happened with my prior. We were talking about just the random light doors being just off the wall. I don't remember what happened to, but it was like going on with us at the same time.
Not for me.
I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
I know my cat starts freaking out at night. This one.
Yeah.
She's the culprit. And she slams my bathroom door and then opens it again. It's not like latched and she opens it. But the apartment before we lived here, my oldest, Ella, I was like, go clean the bathroom. That's her chore. And what was she, 10 at the time? And she was on the couch curled up under a blanket. And I was like, go clean your bathroom. She's like, okay, whatever, And then later I go into her bathroom, and because she had cleaned it, and there was a long hallway with all the bedroom doors, and the bathroom was at the end of the hallway. And I was in the bathroom, and I see her walk past me and then go into her room. And I was like, Ella, you did a great job in your bathroom. And she didn't say anything to me. I was like, Ella, said nothing. I'm like, rude. So I went into her room, and she's not there. I was like, this little girl's hiding from me. I'm looking under her bed. I literally saw her walk in there. I'm looking under her bed, in her closet, nothing. I'm like, Ella! And I go out to the living room, and she's still curled up under her blanket on the couch, which is the complete opposite way. She's always said she hated her room. She had the biggest room in the apartment. Hated it. She always felt uncomfortable. And I see a girl her size walk into her room, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't tell her until after we left, after we moved. But
did she never see the girl? Oh, wow.
She just always felt uncomfortable. I'm like, why? You've got the biggest room in here. Like, this apartment was like a mini house. It was so cute. The only thing small was like the kitchen. Is an apartment. Everything else it was just so homey and so comfortable. And I never felt weird vibes for someone who has been, and seen things and been through things. I never felt weird. She's like, I don't like my room. I don't like my room. I'm like, you're weird. If my room didn't have a bathroom, I would take her room, Loved her room. She hated it. She's like, I don't like it in there. I don't like it. And I saw this girl walk into her room. And I was like, what? And then when she, not that long after, because her dad and I share 50-50 custody, Ella was at her dad's, and Lucy was in the kitchen pointing at the window, like up, going, Ella, 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 when she was a toddler, like a little thing, pointing at the kitchen. I was like, nope. Nope. And it was shortly after I saw, oh God, there's that moth again.
The one you already killed?
Yeah.
I thought I did, and I was just hanging out.
Bring it back.
Lucy, get me a towel, please.
It's the ghost.
You know what?
Ghost.
My cat we had this weird infestation, and I saw something on TikTok about people in Colorado having this infestation of moths, and I was like, ew. And then the very next day, moths everywhere.
Speaking of TikTok, everybody that has TikTok, go follow Rachel Walters 01. We're trying to get her to 1,000 so we can go live on there.
That's me.
Her,
Oh yeah.
Rachel Walters 01.
Sometimes I post funny videos.
You post great videos, Anna.
Thank you.
What I'm cooking for dinner that night. You decide what I'm eating more than I do.
Also, I found a really nice burrito recipe.
Are we posting?
Super simple. Not tonight. I will though, because it's good.
Yeah, it's so funny how often. I wonder what Rachel posted, and then I'll go check, and I'm like, oh, we're having chicken.
Nothing.
We're having chicken rice tonight.
I only posted 2. Sometimes I'm just like mac and cheese. Thank you so much. It's delicious. I think I killed it now, ladies and gentlemen. I think I killed them off. I think it's gone.
Keep your ponytail.
But yeah, so I've seen like my mom and I, when we lived in Florida, my mom and I don't know how to like make this without drawing it out, but we were watching TV. The TV was, so we're sitting on the couch, okay? Right where we are right now. Lucy, don't do that. And then the TV is to our left, so we're looking at the TV like this, right? There's a hallway this way. You making this out in your head? So we're on the couch, TV's here, hallway's here. So the couch was lined up with the hallway, basically. And my mom was on my left, and we're watching TV, and I see someone walking down the hallway. And I turn, my mom turns at the same exact time. And I was like, Mom, why'd you look down the hallway? She goes, oh, I just thought I saw someone walking. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
I'm not tired. My mom was there next to me at the same time we turned her head. And I didn't tell her what I saw. I said, why'd you look down the hallway? Oh, I just thought I saw someone walking. Like, how could you be so naive to say there isn't something else out there?
Oh, there it is.
The ignorance of some people.
Yeah. In my old house, I just bought this house, but in my old house, there was a ghost that it never interacted with me ever. Like, it never bothered me. It would actually, like, it was always walking up and down the stairs. We had, like, stairs. There was, like, stairs that went up, and then there was another here. And then they went up this way. So you would go up this set, and then there was another set to go up the rest of the way. And I always saw it on the bottom section of the stairs. There was a window right here and a mirror and a closet. And I would always see this guy, like, just wandering up and down, wandering up and down. And it was like an older gentleman. So I'm assuming like he lived in the house. So I spoke to the people who I bought the house from, and she was like, oh, well, my dad passed away, but not in the house. And I was like, well, why is he in the house? It doesn't make sense to me. So I was just like, he would never interact. Like, I would literally be walking down the stairs. He'd be walking up the stairs. We'd walk past each other. He wouldn't even acknowledge me, almost like he didn't know I was there.
But they call that something. They call it, help me out if you know it. Like, it just happens whether you're there or not.
Yeah, like he never, like I could be sitting in the living room where the stairs are watching TV, and he would just walk by. Like, never would bother me ever. Never tried to communicate with me. Never tried to scare me. Nothing. And I think the weirdest part about it was I would see him in the daytime and at night.
Yeah. Doing the same thing?
Yeah. Doing the same thing, just going up and down the stairs. I never saw him anywhere else in the house.
What's that word? There's a word for it where it's just I watch so many ghost shows. I should know this. It's not an intellectual, or no, that's not the word either. It's well, there's a word for it, but they'll do it whether you're there or not, and it's the same repeating. It's a memory or an energy, that just repeats itself. So it's not necessarily, not necessarily a soul. It's more the energy of the soul that just keeps reoccurring. Not if anyone's watching it, what's the word? Comment, please, because I'm going to lose it if I don't find the word. A residual haunting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
So,
it wasn't enough for me to like sell the house and jump ship because it just
yeah,
didn't bother me. And I mean,
yeah,
at first, when I first moved in, it caught me off guard because I was home by myself. The lights were off. I was watching TV and I was facing the stairs and I saw him come down. But then when you turned to come into the room with me, he disappeared. And I was just like, whoa. And I jumped up and I ran. I opened the closet door and nothing was there. And it kind of caught me off guard, but it would never come anywhere near me. Like if I was in that room, it would only walk down the stairs, disappear, walk up the stairs, disappear. Like you're saying, it wouldn't do anything else.
right. Whether you're there or not, a residual haunting will do that all the time. And what do they call it? An intellectual?
It says it's a like a replay of past events that just keep happening.
Exactly. Whether you're there or not, it will do it. Then there's the I don't think I'm using the right word again, but like the intellectual haunting will interact with you, because they know what they're. Oh, what time is it? 10. Yeah, my brain's shutting down. It's they're intellectual. They're interactive. They're in the moment. It's not a repeated history thing. And so they can interact with you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there is a difference between residual and...
Residual, intelligent, poltergeist.
Intelligent, thank you. And residual and intelligent.
Okay.
Inhuman.
What is
Inhuman is demons.
Oh,
Inhuman.
okay. That's what was in the house, because my mom said that it had like a face of a dog and it had like horns, but only she could see it. I didn't see anything. There was absolutely nothing there. But she said that it had wings, and she said it had the face of a dog, and then it had like 2 horns.
No, thank you.
She said it was like on top of her.
This is exactly what you're saying, George. This says blah 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 blah. The inhuman hauntings refer to any hauntings caused by something that never walked the earth as a human. So this would include angelic animals, elemental hauntings, angelic animal hauntings, so like anything that like you're describing with the horns.
Yeah.
That's inhuman. That's
you can. People sometimes summon them too. Like if they have seances and just summon like any spirit, if you will. You can bring things that weren't ever alive. Yeah. You can just bring like weird, creepy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I'm just glad I never saw it. It never bothered me. Like it bothered my mom a couple of times, but I never even saw it. So I was just so glad, because I don't know as a kid if I would have been able to handle that.
No.
That was much.
That's too much.
Yeah, that was way too much for me. I would have slept outside in the grass. Like I wouldn't
exactly. Even though I'd feel safer with the coyotes out my backyard than some dog with horns walking around my house.
No.
Well, I have definitely seen quite a few things in my lifetime too.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you jumped on the hood of your car. I can imagine.
Yeah. I didn't believe in this. I didn't believe in stuff like that until I started seeing it with my own 2 eyes, and then I was like so addicted. And they'll be like, "Oh well, let's go." There was like a bridge in like the little town that we lived in, and at midnight you could hear babies crying, and it's what it was. Women that that didn't want their babies, they would take their babies and leave them there. It had like a little stream at the bottom of the river, and you could go at midnight and be really quiet, and you could hear babies crying. You could go to like I can tell you all kinds of stuff that I've seen that it would blow your mind. It's like, but
Yeah.
I think out of everything, because whenever you're growing up, you always hear about the headless horseman.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so whenever you actually see it, you're like, wow, the headless horseman actually exists.
Right.
So yeah, I can tell you all kind of stories. I've seen
Yeah,
a lot of stuff.
we're gonna have to write down some stuff and then do some podcasts and just talk about this stuff. Like each story and how to like research it and then break down like information, like the way that you were identifying like intellectual and like we should
The residual.
break,
Yeah. Here's how I know. My senior year in high school, I graduated in 2002. My senior year of high school, I was obsessed with ghosts. So here we are, 2023. So it's been, what, 13 years? Wait, when did I graduate? Wait, how old am I? Hold on. 23? I'm sorry, what?
23.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. So I'm older than I thought. Okay, so I graduated in 2002. And my senior year, 2002. Yeah, that's right. Oh God, I keep trying to change it in my head, but it's not working.
Still the same.
2002. God. I did a senior project, which was like 80-something% of your final grade, and I did it on ghosts because I was fascinated because I had already seen things at the age of 18, 17, however old I was, 19, and I even looked into I got so deep that I found out that Einstein even tried to come up with a device to capture ghosts. Einstein, of all people. So how the smartest man on the earth that has ever existed believed in spirits, or the supernatural. Caper, Olive, sorry, my cats look like, was trying to prove ghosts and EVP, which is electro voice phenomenon. He was trying to create something to get in contact with ghosts. And I got a 96.8% grade. Wow. Which was amazing. And I converted non-believers, in my presentation and stuff. But I dug so deep into that project that it's like I converted people. And I learned a lot. And not about like intelligent and residuals yet at that point, but like there is a whole history on that stuff, and even Einstein knew about it. So how can you not think like they don't exist just because you haven't seen it?
Yeah.
My husband is a non-believer. Fine, fair, but he's in England of all places, and he likes to. Excuse me. He likes to point out how America is not as old as England, and he's so proud of it. But he's British anyway. But yeah, he just doesn't believe in ghosts and like the energy or the residual energy, or any of that. Like, it doesn't have to be a ghost; it could just be energy. You could walk somewhere and feel the energy of something. Doesn't have to be a spirit, you know what I mean? But he's not that like in tune with that. He's so close-minded, and I get it because so many people are. But unless you experience something, there is literally no explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can't really understand it. So, yeah, that's a whole conversation. I can go on for hours.
You should definitely talk about these stories though in depth though. I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
Just to like do a podcast and get like the details of each one. Like, and then do some research on like what type of ghost it was, what type of haunting it was, and then try to do like, a little more in depth on it, because I feel like a lot of people are interested in it, and even people who don't believe in it still like to hear the stories. I've learned that people like to hear ghost stories even if they don't believe in it. So it's like it's still a conversation that people are always tapping into.
For sure, because it's like that mystery, it's not talking about politics where things are factual or in paper, it's just this mystery phenomenon, and people are intrigued whether they believe it or not. They're still like in tune with it, because you can't prove it's real, but you can't prove it's not real at the same time. You can't. There's no way, one way or the other.
Well,
There's
I used
no
to
way.
I used to feel like that in school when I was taking science because I went to Christian school and we were always taught that God created us. And then I went to my last year of school, I switched to like a Lutheran school. So I went to a Seventh-day Adventist school and then I finished out with a Lutheran school. And I actually got to learn about evolution and science because they wouldn't teach us that in Seventh-day Adventist school. We weren't supposed to. And I was like, how is it that we just appear here? I was like, we would have to believe, you would have to believe in God. You'd have to believe in creation. I was like, there's people who don't believe in that. So where do they think we came from? And then that's when I started digging. And I learned about evolution and the big boom. And I was like, none of this stuff is provable. You have to just believe it. Like, you have to choose what you believe, and then you have to choose that it's accurate. You have to choose that it's real. And I was like, we all believe different things, and we all have our reasons for believing different things, but we can't really, like you said, prove it or deny it.
Yeah.
Or you can't, it's just up to you to believe in your mind. Because I was like, I don't know, because after I turned old enough to get out of the church, because it's more of a cult, I got out of it and I started like doing my own research on life, and I've learned a lot of stuff that I thought was real and true was not.
Yeah.
But when I got older, I just started questioning everything, and I was just like, I
Good
do
on you.
believe in ghosts. I do believe in this stuff, and I do, even though I was raised that it wasn't real, I was raised that it's not possible. I've most of my life thinking I knew things that I didn't, and I just felt like I learned and adapted to accepting the fact that there's other things going on. Because a lot of people are like, well, there's no aliens. I was like, so you think that we're the only life form on this planet? You really believe that? Like, we have
There
animals.
are so many. Okay, we have only explored 10% of our ocean on our own planet. You think we've explored everything in infinite space?
Yeah.
We are still discovering species to this day that we haven't discovered yet. On the planet where we lived for hundreds and hundreds, I mean, if you want to get into evolution, thousands and thousands of years. And we are still discovering new species to this day. They're going in the ocean and they're pulling up fish and things that they've never seen before. I think that's crazy.
I just got a notification, today or yesterday, that they found new species in the ocean?
Yeah.
So, and this is our planet. Now imagine, what we have, 9 planets? But Pluto's not a planet anymore. Okay, 8, whatever. But space goes on forever, which, by the way, space creeps me the hell out because you can't breathe and you float all the time, and it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
We don't know what's out there. We can't even explore our own waters, and people think there's no other life form. How would we be the only life source out there?
What would make us the only living things in this universe? Why would we be the only ones? Because if you believe in the Bang Theory, that would have created several different forms of life in different parts of the universe. We wouldn't have just been the only place that life popped up on. So I don't even understand how people really believe it. Like, well, there's no such thing as aliens. And I'm like, well, why? We're basically aliens. If we were the only living things in the whole universe, wouldn't that make us aliens?
Yes.
Right? We could be aliens. There could be other life form out there thinking that we don't exist.
Yes, exactly. It's just, it's mind-blowing. And it's like, you can't even put your head to wrap around it, because if you think of all the different types of identified species in the world other than humans, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I go outside, I live in Florida now, I go outside and I see lizards like this big in my driveway. And the other day they had some sandhill cranes, birds, in my yard, and I'm thinking, like, good God, what is this? Like, all of these different species that I didn't even see because I lived in Ohio. So I was like, these are all brand new species to me, period.
And
and
they mutate as well. Like, I live in the desert. I grew up in Florida too. I saw banana spiders. Those are not okay.
No.
All right. They're the size of my hand with pointy claws. Those things should all die. They are the spawns of Satan. If there's a Satan, they are the spawns. And wasps. I hate wasps and their dangly legs. I hate them. I hate them. Then there are bugs here, beetles with horns, things that you never knew existed. And then they mutate, become something else. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's insane.
The world is crazy. So it's stupid to say that I know for a fact that there's this and there's that, or there's a God, there's no God. Like, you don't know for a fact of anything.
Exactly. That's exactly true. We know nothing. What we think we know is based on our personal belief.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to prove anything either direction. Exactly. It's just what you believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
My grandmother was an avid Christian. Like, she was like always trying to convert me. And I'm not a Christian, but I was agnostic. Like, I believe in a higher power, but I don't know what that power is. But I'm not stupid. Like, I would pray to the universe or try to manifest something. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's something out there greater than me. Mm-hmm. But I would not call it God. I'm not going to be in a religion of any sense. But my grandmother really was. And when she died, I cried a lot because she died and she was my best friend. But I also cried because I really wanted her to find what she always thought existed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted her to find her God or her happily ever after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's there, and I can't ask her. Can't call her now and say, hey, Grammy, how is it? I can't do that. And so it just made me sad. Like, but I do feel like you will, in the end, meet what you believe exists. And I do believe it's one thing. Yeah. Call it what you want. You know how many religions are out there? And everybody believes their religion is the only one?
Yeah.
It's a higher power, whatever it is. I don't feel like there's a real name for it, for me, anyway. And for those who believe it's one thing, like, be it, that's fine. But I don't know. I just feel like you can't say that's a fact or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
nothing's and that's a fact.
No, it is a fact. You can't come back. My grandma, you can't come back and say, hey, Rachel, guess what, honey bunch? Jesus is real. She can't say that to me. And I just hope she found what she always wanted to. Yeah. And that's what I can hope for. Yeah. And if people believe in Buddha, I hope they find Buddha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is.
Danielle.
I do believe in a higher power, but I don't think there's one name for it. Because everybody's got a name for it.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's so many different religions and different names for it. But I that's why I call myself agnostic, because I believe in higher power. And I call it the universe. Like, call it what you will. Like, maybe that's like so mundane, like so neutral. But I do feel like that's, I don't know. Maybe it's not the universe. Just call it whatever. There's something out there, but you can't really say it's real or it's not. Yeah. Like aliens. You can't say they're real or they're not, like ghosts. You can't say they do or don't. There's no proof that they do. There's no proof that they don't.
Yeah. But the fact that we're here in a universe where there's no oxygen shows that something bigger than us is happening, because technically we shouldn't be here, So there has to be something bigger going on.
And what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one can say for sure. No one can say that. When you die, okay, you can say that, but can you relate? Can you give us that info? No.
We're all
so it's like a crazy dream, which I've had dreams after my grandmother passed, but she didn't tell me if God was real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And so I do feel like souls, we are, what do they call us? Like, what do they call our bodies? Like a capsule,
vessel.
Like
vessel.
A vessel, yeah. A vessel for our soul, where our souls are just living in our flesh. We are not who we look like. We are just souls in a body.
Yeah.
And
I believe that.
when people pass away, oddly, I have dreams, sometimes even before they pass away, that they're ready to pass away. And it's just like, after so many things, how can you not believe in an afterlife? Whether that be ghosts, whether that be like family, you know what I mean? Like you'd be dumb to not think something else goes on after you pass.
Yeah. I agree.
And I love it. And that's why I'm so intrigued. I'm so excited.
All right, guys, I got to head off. Got to early in the morning.
Yes, same here. This was fun though. So yeah, let's reconvene and let's talk about getting together and doing some podcasts. So that would be fun. And these topics I think are perfect. I've always been talking about trash reality TV, and I feel like this is
no more. No, that's all gone. You said trash reality. Well, guess what? It's going in the trash.
Yeah, this is way more interesting. I feel like this exercises your mind, and I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. More
yes, I'm down for it anytime.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to hear all the crazy stories, especially yours, Dee Dee, because you've seen way more than I've seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The one story
I have seen a lot of crazy stuff. Yes, and if you don't see it with your two eyes, you would be like, no way.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, I've seen a lot.
That's gonna be fun. All right, this was fun. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us tonight. It was a fun conversation, and I'm glad that you got to clear those things up.
Yeah.
Those things that were said about you, vile, vicious, untrue things, and I'm glad that you were able to clear that up.
Well, thank you for allowing me to do so. It's been 5-6 years of me being a diva, and I'm not. So I appreciate you letting me explain my story this time.
Of course.
Finally.
Of course. And no one believed you were a diva. No one did. So,
I'm not a diva. Look at me. Look. I'm not a diva.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll talk real soon. Thanks, everybody, for watching, by the way. Thanks for watching us for full on. And if you like this, we plan on doing this again. So talk to you guys really soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.